What's up and welcome back. John Stark from ActTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And we are in the middle of award season. I'm still bleeding some anniversaries over from 2024. So this movie celebrated its 20th anniversary in 2024, which is actually when I saw it, but I knew that I had too many reviews and this was going to push into 2025. But it's Oscar bait. So to celebrate Oscar season, we're going to take another look at Million Dollar Baby. This is directed by Clint Eastwood. It stars Clint, Hilary Swank, and Morgan Freeman. And it's a great film to sort of get rolling into Oscar season and get, as we're waiting for nominations and stuff like that, to have this conversation, take a look at, because this is a Best Picture winner. Clint also won for Best Director, Hilary won for Best Actress, and Morgan won for Best Supporting Actor. So it won 4 of the sort of big awards. So it's definitely a looming presence in terms of its Oscar caliber. I've seen Million Dollar Baby a couple times. This is my first time with audio description. I thought the audio description did a really nice job considering the balance of the movie. It's like a drama, but it's also got some boxing in it. It's not really a boxing movie, although it feels like it should be, but very much sort of lays back and explores more the complicated life of these people. You've got Clint Eastwood, who's this older boxing coach, who at the start of the whole thing, he does have this fighter that he's trying to coach through, and he gets approached by this young female boxer, Maggie, played by Hilary Swank, who won her undercard in the female boxing, and she's really hoping that Clint can coach her, will take her on and train her. And Clint's like, I don't coach girls, He's very sort of like resistant to the whole thing. And the story is kind of like narrated by Morgan Freeman, who plays Clint's best friend, who also sort of works at the gym, but also sort of like lives at the gym. Sort of an interesting character. And of course, Hillary is very persistent, and she keeps showing up in boxing and in training. And Morgan kind of helps her out a little bit more at first, and then Clint eventually sees that she's never going to give up. She also offers to pay her dues, her gym dues, like up front, so he's not one to turn away money, I guess. And we sort of follow this into one of the most notably depressing movies of the of the 2000s. And the funny thing is that Hilary, 5 years apart, I also did a anniversary look at Boys Don't Cry, so I've now just been able to review both of her films with audio description that she won Academy Awards for Best Actress. This is the one that I would keep. She was up against Annette Bening for Being Julia here this year, but there's sort of been that debate of how Annette Bening lost twice to Hilary Swank. I still think that for me, I know some people would flip the Being Julia Million Dollar Baby performance, but I would flip the Annette Bening because really just because it was Hillary's first nomination. So it kind of feels sweeter when you win on your like second or whatever nomination right out of the gate, when you're sort of crowned like a breakthrough performer almost. Hillary was sort of being pulled out of nothingness for Boys Don't Cry. I mean, I don't think that many people remembered her from The Next Karate Kid. So, whereas Annette had already been nominated before, so it would have made sense for her to win for American Beauty that year. And then Hillary could have won after, on her second nomination. So I would actually keep this. I think it's a really nice performance from her. And yeah, it's the emotional baggage. I think Morgan has a very nice performance here too. I think his win is a makeup for what he should have won for virtually kind of like the same thing, where he's like the wise one who offers advice to his best friend in Shawshank Redemption. I think he should have won for that, and perhaps if he had won for that, this is too similar of a role, he may not have won for this. But that was the year that we gave it to Martin Landau, so arguably that year we should have given it to either Morgan Freeman for Shawshank Redemption or Samuel Jackson for Pulp Fiction. One of those two people should have won Best Supporting Actor that year. So everything is just kind of how it falls out. But I was working in theaters when this first came out, and saw it. I think I screened it and I didn't really know anything, hadn't really heard about the ending. And man, it's just, it does pack a punch. And you kind of watch the last. And the funny thing is, rewatching it again, you forget how long you're in that part of the movie. Um, because it really is like the last quarter of the movie. This movie is just slightly over 2 hours. And like the last 30 minutes is the depressing section. I'm trying not to spoil it in case you haven't seen Million Dollar Baby yet. But the last, usually we break up movies into thirds, the first act, second act, and third act. Well, for purposes of talking about this, I'm going to say it's a lot easier to say in 30-minute structures because it really is for like the last 30 minutes of the film. Uh, Probably one standout in the supporting cast is Margot Martindale, who does a really nice job of being a completely unlikable mother for Hilary Swank's character. And you have a couple interactions with her, and this is before she would go on to. She's still a character actress here. People weren't really talking about Margot. She hadn't won her Emmy yet for Justified, so she was still bouncing around and being appreciated for supporting actress roles. But this is when you look back on things and it's Margot Martindale, that you go, oh yeah, she is really good here. And she was just killing the game for like a long time, just biding her time until people would notice her. So it's a it still works on me. Obviously, I can't say it's not a desert island movie because I never really. I have to be in the mood for Million Dollar Baby because it's not a happy movie. And because it's not a happy movie, it's never a comfort movie. I'd be concerned if somebody said this was a comfort movie for them. I'd be like, who hurt you? Just but it is a really good movie, and that's okay. You can watch things. And this year, as we ruminate sort of on what's likely to be Eastwood's last movie in Juror Number 2, God, I hope it is. Don't swing again. You might accidentally have another cry macho. It's one of the movies that reminds you like how great he was. And also one of the things that I really appreciated is I think this was still when he was taking interest in the score. Eastwood used to write a lot of his own scores. And the score to this is very light, but it's also very lovely and it's very pretty. And it has sort of a nice complimentary tone to it. It's nothing that you remember. It's not, but it is something that when you're watching it, that you appreciate. And you're like, wow, this is a nice little pretty score that's happening here. It's not something where I'm like, where'd the score go? Or, oh God, I hate this music. Or this sounds like music that could be written for anything. No, it kind of has that's the score to Million Dollar Baby vibe, reminded me that the score is a little bit more memorable. I've seen this movie just a couple of times, and it's always an emotional experience. And Eastwood's great cast here because he's always that like tough son of a bitch. He's great at playing those roles. Like stretching for him would be like, I don't know, what would it even be? I don't even know. I'd have to play like a drag queen or something. I don't know even you'd have to get him so out of his realm. He'd have to be like comedically, he'd have to be like co-starring with like Chris Farley in something, or like, Adam Sandler and Clint Eastwood because he's so grumpy all the time. And then I feel like they would just play into the grumpiness. It would just be like anger management when Jack Nicholson teamed up with Adam Sandler. So, yes, he acted with a monkey one time, but I don't, I still think he plays grumpy a lot. He plays really serious and really grumpy pretty hard, pretty frequently. That's kind of his shtick, you know? So, it's nice when you see him have softer moments in Million Dollar Baby and movies like Bridges of Madison County. So that's kind of what pulls that out. But otherwise, he's always grizzled and war torn and world weary. Hilary is strong here, and but also incredibly vulnerable. It's a very nice character for her and earnest. I don't know what we've done with Hilary Swank's career. She's a two-time Oscar winner, and it's like I saw her in Ordinary Angels this year with Alan Ritchson. Sometimes she does TV shows. I just wish I want her career to be better. I want people to give her better work, you know. And of course Morgan is like a legend, and I love Morgan Freeman. So he can I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I've been like, nah, Morgan was bad in that. I've seen movies that haven't been good that Morgan's been in. That's true. But I don't think I've ever been like, no, Morgan wasn't any good in that movie. So I don't know they give him the Oscar for this because I want the Oscar maybe for like Red in Shawshank. I just don't think this is like an iconic film role for him. And he does have a couple nice scenes though, so I'm not totally mad at it. I don't hate it. I just forget who else he's nominated against this year. So, if you have a chance, check out Million Dollar Baby with audio description. I thought it was really nice. There are a couple fight scenes it has to describe, but really sort of like when the emotional weight of the film lands in that final like 30 minutes, the audio description is really there to support it. And all of the like quiet moments, the film sort of starts to wind down. And you're gonna learn some Gaelic by the end of the movie. So I do think Million Dollar Baby is excellent, and I think some people may have started questioning whether or not this movie aged as well. But I think it still has. There is always that debate where a movie comes along and you look at it and a movie is sort of rising up as time progresses and it feels more like that film, but it wasn't really popular at the time. And that's definitely happened for 2004. There were films that were ignored in 2004 that you just go, well, I mean, so the best picture win for Million Dollar Baby is incredibly debatable, and I fully accept that. But it doesn't mean it's not a good movie. It's 2004 is also a great example of why 10 nominations works today, because 2004 would have been a very strong year to have 10 films from and been able to celebrate, like films like Eternal Sunshine that failed to get a Best Picture nomination. So I have no grudges. I have no ill will to this movie. I think it's excellent, and might have been the last great movie that Clint Eastwood directed. I'm not a big fan of Gran Torino. Sorry. Hot take on that one. Not a big fan. So, that's it. I'm going to give Million Dollar Baby an A. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.